Oh, before we get started, because I got a lot to fucking say, let me just share my stream around before I get into this abomination of mankind. Oh, I sat on this shit for 24 hours. I have sat on this fucking show for 24 hours now. And all I gotta say is, I'm not entirely gonna blame Netflix. The responsibility is gonna fall on the fandom. Oh yes, both sides are gonna be held to task. And there will be some parts, don't worry, there's going to be some parts where I will swallow my pill on this series. But for anything that might have been a bright spot, there was something to fuck it up royally. So you just give me a few minutes, everybody. I will share this around. And warning, there will be fucking spoilers, because I don't give a damn. So, let me just get my links, share them to all my social medias, share them to, my Discord, the multiple Discord servers I'm in, the whole shebangaboo. Just let me do it. Just give me a minute. Let this simmer in my veins like the T-virus. Which this show can't even get that right. My pain, and the pain of many Resident Evil fans, has only just begun. Almost done. I'm almost done sharing. I'm almost done. Patience, everybody. Just give me patience. Just, everybody. Say whatever prayers you have. Whatever you may have in store. Just pray. Because this is going to be a doozy. I'm almost done. I'm almost there. Heather Collins. Hello there. You can just hear the anticipation in my voice from what is to come. Okay. Now that I shared everything everywhere, let me put that down. Netflix. What the fuck did you do? What's up, MK90? Netflix, what did you do? What did you do to one of my babies? I sat through all 8 episodes in one day, so no one can tell me shit. Can't tell me a fucking thing. Okay? We've had 6 overpowered Mary Sue Resident Evil shitty movies. We have average to very good animated stuff. We actually had a faithful and beautiful adaptation last year that everybody destroyed and trashed because they're fucking idiots. Now, because of all that, we're stuck with Netflix's Resident Evil. And yes, like I said before, fucking spoiler warning, because I'm going to say shit from this show. The games, this show was originally, this is how desperate they are, Netflix. This fucking show was supposed to be a sequel to the shitty Mila movies, But nobody wanted that. So they had the fucking audacity to set this show after all the games have ended, which contradicts the video games at the same time. You don't know. You don't fucking know what I went through. Right now, the Mad Kiyoma's on Twitch. He's not there. I need my fucking back scratcher. He listened to me watch this show. And mind you, like all things, whether it's based on a property I like or not, I go into it with minimal to no expectations, so I can build my own expectation while watching. Okay? And when that doesn't fucking help, oh my goddamn, my back's still itching. When that doesn't motherfucking help, you know you Mick fucked up. Okay? You fucked up. You royally fucked up. Let me tell you what the bullshit is with this show. Now, first of all, I know what politically correct YouTube or fans that are fucking PC always want to be politically correct about every fucking thing. I actually like the actors. Yes, I'm going to give you that. Like I said, I know when to swallow my pill. I know when to swallow the pill on things. I thought the actors did great. But great actors can only carry a shitty fucking script so far. Okay? I love the actors. I actually really did like that. I really did. Okay? Especially the lead actors. See, what this show does, it reminds me of Silent Hill 1 the movie. Let me explain you why. Silent Hill 1 the movie, which is an underrated classic to the gaming community, it's the one case where you have, let's use Silent Hill and Resident Evil 1, for example, the original movie. Silent Hill changed the protagonist to a mother, but she grew into a character we rooted for by the end. Okay? The actress in this show, well, I don't remember the actress's name. It's funny how I don't remember her name, but like she's one of those actresses that I love. Like she's beautiful, talented. You know, I love the actress. And yes, even though I'm not fond, and it's stupid what they did to Wesker, I'll give the actor this. You was great. The actor was great. I'm not gonna blame them. I will not blame none of the actors in this show for what they were given. Okay? Netflix just thinks by showing us monsters, references, and lines, like that's gonna fucking carry the damn film. Okay? I'm gonna get another thing out the way. Like I said, that's one pill. I'm gonna swallow the second pill here. I like the designs of the BOWs. I like how the zombies looked. I'm not going to front. I like how they interpret the BOWs. And what I mean by interpret, I mean they're designed. Okay? Especially, this is at least the most dangerous that I have seen the liquors. I will give you that. They even brought the spider. But the problem with this show is it does what the live-action movies did. And I'm talking about the Milla Jovovich movies. I'm not going to fucking talk trash about Welcome to Raccoon City because that's as close as we're going to get to a faithful adaptation. But this movie pulls what the fucking Milla Jovovich movie does. It just has monsters there that don't fucking make sense. Okay? Eight episodes. People also, here's another example. People want to bitch at the Book of Boba Fett for doing flashbacks when this entire show was so fucking disjointed between the present day stuff and the flashback stuff. And when they started to weave in stuff from the video games, it didn't fucking make sense. Because you know what this show did? Do you fucking want to know what the show fucking does? It eliminates Resident Evil 7 and 8. So this bullshit can happen. And the way they did the virus. The T virus doesn't work this way. When are they going to understand how the T virus works? And again, this is where Welcome to Raccoon City got the T virus right. A chick in this show got bit by the fucking BOW dog. One of the daughters, because Wesker has 2 daughters. Again, that's not fucking Wesker. They tried to fuse the real world with the world of Resident Evil. Just because you could throw illnesses and then throw a few COVID-19 references like it exists in your universe, which they did. They just flat out name dropped COVID-19 like crazy, comparing it to the T virus. I'm like, I feel sorry for Resident Evil fans. I really do. I feel sorry for us. Why? Because this is the bed we chose to fucking lay in. This is our fault. Why? Everybody kept giving those shitty Mila movies a pass. Then when they decided to feel like, okay, you know what, we're going to give you a faithful adaptation. We want to see where it goes. If it does, we'll give you more faithful adaptations. What did you do? You spit in the fucking face of Welcome to Raccoon City. So guess what? This show is the fault of the fandom. I'm holding the fandom accountable for this one. This is their fault. Okay? Welcome to Raccoon City may not have been perfect. By no fucking means was it perfect. But guess what? At least when I looked at that, I saw the spirit and the soul of Resident Evil was there. The heart of Resident Evil was put into that film. But unfortunately, people are too fucking stupid and dumb and blind just by seeing references. Like putting weapons from the video game is also not going to work. We're not dumb monkeys, Netflix. And I mean, here's another fucking thing. Chainsaw Man, because I'm just going to label Chainsaw Man because it's not really Dr. Salvador from Resident Evil 4, and Resident Evil 5 had Chainsaw Man also. I'm just going to call it Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man died from a single shot to the fucking head. I'm going to run that by you one more time. Chainsaw Man, who takes pistol rounds, shotgun rounds, SMG rounds, assault rounds. Hell, he could eat grenades sometimes. Like, take fucking grenades when we throw it at him. It would have been believable if they would have used probably a Magnum. If they would have used a Magnum to put him down, I could have bought it. I would have bought it if they would have used a Magnum. But no. They used a fucking the Red 9 from Resident Evil 4. Which would make no sense to be there. It's like, they were pulling shit in this show more so from Revelations 2, if anything. And they did it poorly. Here's another caveat, though. Here's a caveat. Like I said, I'm going to go back to the guy that plays Wesker. I don't have a problem with the actor being black. The dude, for what he did, had to work with. He was phenomenal. I will, as a matter of fact, let me look up on my phone who the cast. Let me look at the cast real quick. And I'll tell you right now. Netflix is... Hi, this is a... Yes, Cypher. Yes, please. Preach with me, brother. Preach with me. But here's the thing. I'm getting into... Here's the thing. There's a lot wrong with the show, but I will make credit where credit is due. Like I said, I have caveats. I have caveats that I will swallow my pill on. Lance Reddick. Lance Reddick, he was phenomenal. He was phenomenal. He's the dude that plays Albert Wesker. Even though, yes, this is a generic race change, the actor was still great. I liked him. Hell, there's a scene in this show where you actually see him wear the original Wesker. The show has no respect. That's the thing. It has no respect, but the actors did what they could. That's the thing, Cypher. We're going to separate what Netflix did from the actors. It's not the actors' fault. It is not their faults at all. There's a scene in the fucking show where Lance Reddick actually shows up with the Wesker hairdo, the sunglasses, the dead thing, and he does his super speed and all that when taking out guards. I'm not going to front, because that's Wesker. Wesker's always fighting his way out, and he always has his pistol. He's always doing his thing. Okay? He's always doing his thing. I get that. And he did it. He was intimidating. At least, if they were going to do this, like, here's the thing. If you're going to rewrite Albert Wesker, you should have went all the way and rewrote him. If the video games universe, because they said that all the video games have already happened, except Resident Evil 7 and 8 don't take place. Why? Because they said in the show, if I remember correctly, the world ended in 2013. What took place in Resident Evil? Which Resident Evil took place in 2013? Resident Evil 6. So that means you're trying to fucking tell me that none of the heroes stopped the C virus. Which, ironically, in this show, the C virus was compared to COVID-19. Ironic, right? COVID, C virus, COVID, C virus. Was Resident Evil 6 the video game trying to tell us something? I think it was. All right, now let me look at this. Oh, Jade Wesker. The actor who plays her, called Ella Balinska. I knew the show's before. No, you're right. Here's the thing. There's ways that this could have been done right. Because like I said, I'm not blaming the actors. Ella Balinska, who's the lead character of this show, she did great. I love her. I really do. I like her. She's a good actress. She's beautiful. She's one of my, fantasy actresses that I love. But, I like her. She's beautiful. You have Paola Nunez, who she really knows how to play a bitch. I'll tell you that. She's good at playing a bitch. She's a beautiful woman too. Let's see. Really, the rest of the cast is not that important because they only show up in certain parts. Now, the two actresses that play the Wesker daughters in the flashback scenes, they did good as teenagers. They were believable as teenage girls. I give them that because you always tell that when they get actresses to try to be teenagers, it doesn't feel natural. These two feel natural, and you can feel the states that they're in, both in their mentals and what's going on. I'll tell you that. See, here's the thing, Mr. Cypher. You go on Twitter, now people are saying, perhaps we were too harsh on Welcome to Raccoon City. Well, it's too late now. This is the bed they made. Now I gotta sleep in it. Plain and fucking simple. So, and all this story is the thing. If you would have just kept the original, and it's implied, they heavily implied that all the Resident Evil characters that we know, all the heroes are dead. That they're fucking dead. That's why they have these new characters. Because they're all dead. I could have accepted that if you would have just showed the flashback scenes from the mansion, like Cobra, anywhere Wesker was, and if you would have placed this guy, the Black Wesker, in those scenes, and had him set up from the jump like that, okay, I would have been accepting. Because the dude has an intimidating voice. Even though it's a clear difference between Wesker's voice and this guy, because remember, he's a black guy, he's got a deeper voice. He can be intimidating. Like I said, I keep glancing over my phone, looking at the name. Lance Reddick can be intimidating. Like Wesker. I was like, oh shit, okay, you know what, I'll fine. But this is where the stupid part happens. They imply that Wesker, this Black Wesker, has been there from the beginning. He did all the events that regular Wesker did. Then they open a fucking biotank that shows Wesker from Resident Evil 5 that he survived. It's the Ouroboros Wesker inside of a tank. And he's white Wesker. That just basically broke the fucking continuity that you were trying to establish. Like, this show, even the dialogue was trying to rip lines from the video games, and it didn't make sense. Like I said, I sat on this show for 24 hours. If it wasn't because Netflix has a fucking, what is it, that they weren't copyright dispute happy, I would literally share screen and make us go through episodes together and break it down. But I'm not going to do that. One, I'm not going to put myself at fucking risk because you know how petty these motherfuckers are. But let me also pull up the episode guide so I can tell you. Come on, motherfucker. It's already, let's see. Literally, these fucking reviewers and Netflix themselves, there's reviewer, like, these obviously biased outlets and idiotic critics saying this is the most faithful adaptation of Resident Evil. That's like trying to tell a serial killer, collect evidence that you killed somebody. Saying that this is the most faithful adaptation. No, motherfucker. It is not. We had a faithful adaptation in October. What did the community do? You spit in its face. Okay? I have hang-ups about it. I do. I got some hang-ups about it. But the problem is the fact that the only thing that holds Resident Evil together in, like, the media department that's not video games is the animated stuff. Okay? You want faith? Is how you not. This is exactly not. Even Infinite Darkness, despite some of its problems, Infinite Darkness is a superior show to this. I don't understand how this show and Infinite Darkness are on the same fucking platform. Like, they're on the same streaming service. I don't know. I don't understand how that's fucking possible. Let me get into, and also this. In the last episode, guess which BOW makes an appearance in the final episode? And it completely broke the rules of a BOW. It did a good job being a BOW, because here's the thing. I can't judge a BOW's acting because what do these BOWs do in Resident Evil? Their job is to fuck shit up. Okay? I did like all the lickers crawling out of the dark, because that's something they would do. If lickers were in packs, like the way these lickers popped out at you, they popped up in fucking packs. And I was like, okay, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. I was intimidated by Chainsaw Man for a minute until I saw he died with one shot to the fucking head from a Red 9. They even tried to reference Resident Evil 4 in one episode. There's a cult group called the Brotherhood. But guess what their symbol is? Their symbol is the fucking Los Illuminados. But none of these people are controlled by a fucking plaga parasite. Chainsaw Man ain't for me. Yeah, but here's the thing. At least in the video game, Chainsaw Man is fucking intimidating. Okay? Here, one shot. Dies. Another one. They built a place called New Raccoon City. Guess where New Raccoon City's built at? I want y'all to take a fucking guess. A big fucking guess. I'll just tell you, it takes place in New Raccoon City's in South Africa. You guessed? It was built on the fucking oil refinery where we chase Irving. You all remember Resident Evil 5 where we had to chase that crackhead looking dude, Irving, the dude through the oil fields and all that? And through that oil facility? Yeah. That's where they built New Raccoon City on top of. They showed Lisa Trevor, who, I don't know how. How did you make Lisa Trevor look worse here? She looked, even though she looked a little rocky, she was better in Welcome to Raccoon City than she was fucking here. The Umbrella Soldiers don't even look like Umbrella Soldiers. At least the Umbrella Soldiers in Welcome to Raccoon City had the fucking gas masks. They had the red thing, you know. I don't know how you get the, and I'm getting fucking tired of this. They use running zombies in the show. When even the T-Virus, unless you say they're all Crimson Heads, they can't fucking run. And not one time did they say these were Crimson Heads. Not fucking one. We never even seen a Crimson Head in live action. Which is baffling to me. It really is baffling. Let me take a sip of my water real quick. Garrett, we ain't got time for this right now with Thor: Love and Thunder. I mean, yeah, Christian Bale, he was pretty solid as Gore. I'm not gonna lie, but right now I'm not focused on Thor right now. Even though he's one of my favorite characters, I'm not focused on Thor right now. Like, from what you see right here, you see this little background I got right here? That's how the liquors look in the show. And from what you can tell, like I was saying, the way the BOWs look, the BOWs have quality. I'm not going to front. No, Gary, you're good. I'm just saying. I'm hype right now. I'm hype. You ain't got to say sorry. You're good. I'm fucking hype right now. If you guys see this right there, like, the monsters have this quality of design to them, and they do look faithful. The spider looked really good. That's what I'm saying. There will be parts where I will swallow my pills on this. Okay? But, of course, it's Netflix. They also couldn't help but pander to the LGBTQ by making the leader of Umbrella, who technically should be Wesker. But guess what they did? Spencer's not the leader of Umbrella, or wasn't the leader of Umbrella this whole time. In this universe, it was James Marcus, the dude who dies in Resident Evil 0, who created the leeches. The design feels like a xenomorph. Well, think about it. Liquors kind of move like xenomorphs. That's why I can't, that's why I'm not tick about that. It's kind of a trend, yeah. Like, it's not forced, but of course, it's just thrown in randomly. There was no build up to understand it, and it's just there. So the lead chick of Umbrella, Evelyn Marcus, heavily emphasized. There's even a whole scene where you see it. But the thing is, I also will, like I say, even though it's unnecessary, the at-home life, like the way the wife is treated, like the way the wife treats her son and everything like that, like I'm gonna say this, it's wholesome, but it's unnecessary. Like I said, there's a pro and a con, but there's more cons than there is pros. Okay? There is more pros. No, not more pros. I'm not even gonna lie to myself. There's more cons than there is pros. Evelyn Marcus is a lesbian as well in the show. But the thing is, this whole point is like, if you're gonna do a Resident Evil adaptation, people have been asking for years, and it's not hard. I bet you anything, if you did a show, you could do one season in the mansion, one season in Raccoon City, one season of Code Veronica. You could literally cover each game in a single season. Because there's a lot of side stuff you could cut out. What about the canceled Resident Evil testing that they did called Arkley Mountains or Arkley? It was going to be about the bizarre murders. That was an original story set before the events of the games, and it would have weaved in perfectly. I mean, Again, I don't have an issue. I didn't have an issue with it. Like I said, the Evelyn stuff, like, Evelyn is a massive bitch, but I can understand why. That's the same. I understand why. Her at-home life, the way her wife acts, the way the wife is with the son, it's wholesome. It is very wholesome. It feels, I would say, for the most part, for the first time I'm saying this, it felt natural, but it just came out of left field. That's basically it. So like I said, there's always a pro and there's a con, but there's more cons than there is pros. I'll tell you, the only thing that I really did like, and even though he is one of my major criticisms, I liked him, but I didn't like his portrayal. I love Lance Reddick. I mean, I loved his acting. The dude was just like, I think him and the chick that plays the adult version of Jade, one of his daughters, is what kept me watching. Because she was good too. It's almost like you had a good character in a shitty story, basically. A good character in a shitty story. So I saw through to the end with her. Because she had a very similar vibe to Rose from the Silent Hill movie, which is an underrated classic. You know? And they just, like, the fact that they name dropped characters, where are they? Oh, they're either MIA or they're dead. I mean, and they also tried to pull from Code Veronica with this whole cloning shit. And I understand there was cloning in the games, but in the games it was at least explained well enough that we can accept it. Okay? I could actually have bought the fact, bro, the way they teased Ada but the thing is, Ada was in the scene. Ada was teased at the end, but she wasn't teased in the present timeline of 2036. She was teased way back when. But I mean, even if Ada survives, but here's the thing. If all the other characters are not alive or around this point, which would be BS, how could Ada still be alive? She has the same capabilities of all the other characters. You would assume if there was an apocalyptic event, let's say if the C virus broke loose and the characters failed to save it, I doubt the characters would die. I could expect Leon to live. I would expect Claire to live. You definitely could tell Chris will live because Chris will be a one-man army. And it contradicts the timeline of the video games. Because Resident Evil 7 and 8 are eliminated from the timeline to make this make sense, because when Resident Evil games come out, they usually come out and they take place in the year that they're released in. So, they said the world ended in 2013. That means you had to eliminate 7 and 8, which takes place, I believe if I remember correctly, doesn't Resident Evil 7 take place in 2015 or 2016? Somebody remind me when Resident Evil 7 took place, because I know Resident Evil 8 came out early last year. But Resident Evil 7 and 8 would easily disprove the timeline of this show, because that means the show couldn't happen, because then the world would have been ended in 7 and 8. And if this is what the reboot timeline of games, like the remake timeline of games, are leading up to this show, then Jesus. I mean, why is it so hard? And the fact that now the community is just like, they feel bad for how they treated the other movie, Welcome to Raccoon City. I said from the jump that was going to happen. That when this show came out and it slapped the community in the face, they were going to be like, perhaps we treated the other one too harshly. At least the other one had the heart and the soul of Resident Evil. Okay? And what a lot of people don't understand is that the reason why some of the storyline in feels a little different in Welcome to Raccoon City is because they were drawing from the original versions of Resident Evil. They draw it from Resident Evil 1, obviously, both from the remake version of 1 and the classic version of 1. And for the Resident Evil 2 portions, they were drawing from Resident Evil 1.5. Resident Evil 7 took place in 2017, I think. Oh, okay. It took place in 2017. So, Resident Evil the other movie was taking a lot of elements from the 1.5 type stuff, like you know how Leon was already at the police station, or he was already in Raccoon City instead of just getting there. That's what was in the movie. And a lot of people, like, literally, there was reviews saying, why wasn't Leon fighting back, like kicking the zombies' asses? I'm like, you wanted Resident Evil 4 Leon at a time where he doesn't exist yet? Like, the arguments that they were using to try to criticize the movie for, their criticisms didn't even make sense. That was the problem with Welcome to Round. People were taking just nitpicks and turning them to full-fledged criticisms, which that's not fair and that's not right. Why is it getting so dark all of a sudden? Is it about the rain? Nope, that's just clouds. Oh, yeah, check outside. But, like, it's just right. Like, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, and I know I usually watch things twice, but I'm not going to go through this fucking show twice. I will only go through it once. And lucky for me, I'm not even subscribed to Netflix. I got family members that let me use theirs. So I know it's the territory, so I'm obligated to talk about it. And I was hoping that at least that they gave me something. At least something. So at the end, at least in the final episode, the alligator shows up. Oh yeah, these human survivors have the alligator dociled and chained up beneath their boat, and they're dragging it along with them, which is already... But when they let him loose, and this wasn't even explained why the BOW did this, the alligator, he tore up everything else. He went after the other fucking umbrellas and the zombies. You know, he did what he did. He barreled down even through the zombies, because that's the one thing about the BOWs. Even in the games, the big BOWs don't care about the zombies in between. They'll barrel down the zombies to get to you. Now, the alligator catches up to Jade's daughter, but it doesn't attack her. In fact, it lays down like a fucking puppy dog. Like a fucking puppy dog. I don't know where this show is gonna go. I don't know what bullshit they have planned for future seasons. I swear, if a studio was to be like, I would do it for free. I would literally be able to, like, the only person who came close before Welcome to Raccoon City was George Romero with his script for Resident Evil. All you had to do was make some minor tweaks, you know, because he did put some original stuff in there. It'll probably get worse and worse. Yup, this is basically the CW. This is Resident Evil if it was on the CW. And ironically, it's on Netflix. It's just... When Wesker's daughter got bit by the dog, like one of his twin daughters got bit by the dog, it should have been lights out. The infection would have took hold. Like, when you get bit by a BOW versus getting bit by an actual zombie, it hits you faster. The virus hits quicker. You would have been done. What happened? This girl had enough time. She was going through some sort of metamorphosis between being crazy. It's like the virus was doing more mental stuff to her, when I'm like, that's not how the T-virus works. And Netflix wonders, yes, they're wondering why they lose subscribers. It's like, they thought by saying that the video games had already happened, that it would get people interested, because from the jump, this was originally going to be a continuation of the Alice movies. That's what it was going to be. But they knew definitely nobody would fucking watch it. Because I don't know how they were allowed to keep making a Resident Evil movie after Resident Evil movie after Resident Evil movie, because every movie after Resident Evil Apocalypse was a financial bomb. Like, nobody wants to admit that, but the movies after, all the Alice movies after Part 2 were financial bombs. Why do you think it always took them a couple years in between to always make another one? Because they had to reaccumulate the finances. It's like, you know the movies are shit, but yet you keep making them, and you kept making them, and you kept making them. But you can't keep that same energy for this one, because everybody used to trash those movies. But they were like, no, fuck you, we're going to make another one. Fuck you, we're going to make another one. Oh, guess what? People trash Welcome to Raccoon City. You would assume, well, fuck you, they're going to be like, well, guess what? Yeah, fuck you, we're not going to make another one now. Netflix is like, my turn. Everyone's like, no, fine. Give us back do a sequel to Welcome. Maybe you can, do Code Veronica next. And nope. You proved to the Resident Evil community, you told the studios that this was okay. This is not only the fault, yes, of idiotic holders of the license. They got a hold of the license to do this. Yes, you're right, that it's their fault too. But this is also the fault of the Resident Evil community. They allowed this to happen. Okay? And they need to accept the responsibility that this is the shit that they laid. This is the grave they need to go. This is the grave that they're going to sleep in. Because they did this to themselves. This was entirely the fault of the Resident Evil fandom. Okay? We'll always blame. Don't get me wrong. Blame Netflix all day. I can blame them, yes. But this is really the one time where the community needs to be held accountable. We could have had at least a fairly decent live-action series off of Welcome to Raccoon City, because the director even said that he wanted to ideally he either wanted to do Code Veronica or Resident Evil 4 next. Well, guess what? We're never going to get those adaptations. We will never get them now. And that's nobody's fault but the fandom. There are times where, yes, see, fandoms always want to blame companies, but the fandom can't accept blame for what they themselves cause, because it's not just a company's fault, okay? It's the responsibility of both. And yes, it is sad. It is really sad. If I was in charge, like literally, I couldn't be a movie studio, okay? Because I would tell critics that if they're not fans of the franchise, they're not going to understand it. This is made for the fans. And critics can bash it all they want, but I'll be like this, look, you can bash it all you want, but that doesn't mean your claims are legitimate. They're underrated spin-offs, but suck that they never jump in. Exactly. It's a sad day for Resident Evil fans. It really is a sad fucking day. Because I love the games. You guys have seen me stream the games before. I adore the fucking games. Like, highly. Resident Evil 2 Remake. One of my favorite in the series. Okay? It used to be 4. And it used to be the original. I like the spin-offs too, I equally like the spin-offs. Every Resident Evil, actually, scratch that. Before Resident Evil 2 Remake, my favorite Resident Evils were Outbreak 1 and 2. Especially the RE4 Remake is gonna flop. Actually, it's Cypher, it's not gonna flop, because I learned something. The Resident Evil Remake games have two teams. There's a team that handles Resident Evil 2, and that there's a team that handles Resident Evil. There was a separate team that handled 3. That's why 3 had so many problems. The team that handled Resident Evil 2 is doing the 4 remake, and they're looking into the old cancel concepts of Resident Evil 3.5. Like, remember the Hookman stuff and everything? They're looking to the stuff that they never used the first time and want to re-implement it. So this might be more of an original Resident Evil 4 than a straight-up remake. Of course, it's going to be about the Ganados, and it's going to take place and all that. That's different. But all the canceled concepts that we never saw will be coming to light. At this point, we don't want another Resident Evil movie live-action series for a while. If not a long time now. And yeah, exactly, that's sad. They had a chance to redeem themselves, and they did redeem themselves with Welcome to Raccoon City. But guess what? This time, that wasn't the fault of the studio. That was the fault of the fans. That really was their fault. They asked for this. They brought this upon the fandom. And I don't like having to say that. I really don't. It just... And I feel bad for the actors. I really do. Because the actors in this show, I never blame actors for what a studio does or the calls or the bullshit they make. Okay? And I feel bad for my celebrity love. The chick that plays the adult version of Wesker's daughter, man. I feel bad, man. She's the only reason I went through this mainly one of the reasons I went through this. Canceling the show is the only way to destroy it. Unsupporting is the only way to win first. Yeah, but here's the problem. These Resident Evil channels are obligated. And people are now kind of obligated to watch it to basically give their points on it. Lucky for me, I don't pay for Netflix. I just borrow it so I can watch it and cover it and give it hell. The hell that it deserves. So, I don't know how much more. I was originally going to start the original Resident Evil remake for Twitch. But then this shit happened, so that kind of fucking blew my whole out the water of what the fuck I wanted to do. Literally, I had the vibes to do Resident Evil for Twitch. Now I gotta restore those vibes because Netflix just shot that right in the damn foot. So, give me 1 second. Somebody's knocking on my door. Speak of the devil, everybody. It should have low ratings. So, I'm actually going to cut the stream right here. I think I got everything I said out of my system. My family just got here because, we're going to have family dinner tonight. So, I wanted to burn this out of my system. I hope you guys understood where I was coming from. And this show's a fucking abomination to mankind. We had a faithful adaptation. The fandom spat in the face. And guess what? This series exists because of your failures. Because of the failure of the fandom. I'm not talking about you guys. You guys actually, understand. Yeah, I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Eugene, one of my longest ones, but